Hello everyone, and what we have here is something I recently acquired almost a month ago. This is a steam locomotive headlight. This is the headlight off of Craig Mountain Lumber Company number 4, built in 1923 by the Heisler Locomotive Works. It ran until 1951 on the Craig Mountain Lumber Company when it was retired from service and was cut up right afterwards. Even though the engine was scrapped, somehow the headlight of the locomotive survived, and it ended up right at a local antique store that's not too far from me. Let's take a closer up look of the condition of this headlight. Let's survey the headlight. This is the top of the headlight. This is the builder's plate of the headlight. This is when the headlight was first built. It's a sunbeam headlight. It's a bit rusty on top, but some of the original black paint is still on there. Even on the sides of the headlight, which actually you can open this up right here. This is how you get access to the wires on the headlight. Since this headlight is powered by a steam-powered dynamo, there would be wires that would be hooked up to the steam dynamo, and the steam dynamo would transfer power electrically to the headlight. So this is the front of the headlight, and as you can see the inside, the lens is cracked. There's nothing I can do about that, but I will be cleaning this up and make it look half decent. There's these metal bars on the front, and I'm assuming that is to protect the actual light itself. Then on the inside, there's no bulb, but there's the original housing to put the bulb in there, which is pretty surprising after all these years. I also got a couple other items of the headlight. This here is a plate, and it looks to be that this thing is already restored, so I wonder if the guy who already owned this headlight tried to restore it previously, but he just never got time to do it. Now, I don't know what this plate is actually used for, so if you guys know what this plate was probably used for, tell me in the comment section below. Also included with the headlight were 3 other things. This is a picture of Craig Mountain Lumber Company number 4. Now, this engine is what the headlight is off of, so this kind of gives proof of what the headlight was off of. Then the second thing was this public auction brochure. This was made in 1963, and how you can tell is that this here, or these here, are airmail stamps, which were made in 1963. This auction was about selling off a bunch of logging equipment in the Boise Cascades. This took place in Winchester, Idaho, when they were selling off a bunch of things. They were even selling off some railroad equipment. Now I'll show you the railroad equipment. It's on the next page here. So on this page here, they're selling off some freight cars, but the biggest thing they're selling off was Craig Mountain Lumber Company number 3 here, which is the sister to number 4. Now, number 3 is still around today. In fact, it just recently got restored in October of last year at the Oregon Coast Scenic Railway. They're also selling off some road equipment that were used for logging, but that was the second thing I got with it. And the third piece is this thing here. Now, this thing here is pretty special. This is the letter from the office of the Craig Mountain Lumber Company in Winchester, Idaho on November 29th, 1920, from E. H. Van Ostrand, president of the railroad company, to J. W. Fancy of the Empire State Building in Spokane, Washington. This reads as follows. Dear Mr. Fancy, I'm sending you by prepaid express 1 sack of mountain-grown potatoes. I'm sending these to Spokane as I do not know your city address, and you'll please look out for them on arrival. Yours truly, E. H. Van Ostrand, president of the Craig Mountain Lumber Company. Before I continue, let's go into some history of the Craig Mountain Lumber Company. The Craig Mountain Lumber Company was a lumber company based in Winchester, Idaho, about 40 miles southeast of Lewiston. The company would be first under construction in 1909 by a group of Wisconsin pioneers. They began constructing a sawmill in Lewis County, Idaho, with its main office being located in Spokane, Washington. The construction would end in 1910, and the first log cut would be sawed on July 4th of that year, with a new town being constructed. The company's mill would be the largest in northern Idaho and had a capacity of 120,000 board feet of lumber every 10 hours. 270 men would be hired to work at the mill earning 25 to 75 cents daily. Over time, the company would run occasional passenger and freight trains, usually 2 daily. The company would own 5 locomotives and 30 miles of trackage. They owned 4 Heisler geared locomotives and 1 Climax. Over a span of 25 years, the mill would open and close twice due to the Great Depression, having 30 million board feet of lumber and an extra 1 million feet in the pond. The mill would then reopen for a 3rd time on January 31st, 1935. In 1950, the company would be sold to the Halleck and Howard Lumber Company. In 1951, the company would retire all of its previous equipment and sell it off. Halleck would later sell it to Boise Cascade in 1960. Finally, in March of 1965, it was determined that the lumber was located too far from the mill to be economically transferred. With this unfortunate problem, the company would be shut down for good. Alright, normally I'd be ending a video, but after a couple weeks I cleaned up the headlight and I thought I'd show you some of the progress before I end the video. As you can see with the lens, they're now shiny again. Down here is still a bit dirty, I'll be getting to that eventually. I cleaned up the top of the headlight, the sides where the brackets are. As you can see, some of the black paint is starting to show again. So that's cool. There's still some cleaning has to be done on the bottom, but other than that, it's starting to look half decent. My plan is to get this lit up with a bulb inside, since I don't have access to a steam-powered generator. Anyway guys, that's it for now. This is Brendan's Trains, signing off.